Hi, hello.
Hey,
Is this Alex?
yeah.
Hey, this is Tommy Bryson. How are you, man?
Hey, Todd. Good, good. Just got home from work.
All right, awesome. Is it a good time? Is this a good time?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Is this a good time? I said.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I keep saying yeah, and then you don't
Oh, yeah. So I'm
think
guessing when you
back.
say, yeah, he's like, yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, man. So look, this is the first time ever on this channel we're actually interviewing someone. So I'm happy that you come on and be like the first person. Like not even like on this channel only, but like ever. Like I really don't do this often, and I
Yeah.
should. So I'm just want to say like I'm happy to have you here. And when I saw your video initially, man, I thought it was awesome. And the first thing I said to my editor was, "Yo, I gotta find out who this guy is and have him on the show some way somehow." Because it just seems so interesting. How does it feel, by
Oh,
the way?
oh,
Um, yeah.
exactly. How does what feel?
How does it
You
feel
know,
to like know that that video, like, you know, you're probably like a private person, like you have like your business being built, but then to like do this video and then see it blow up. How does that feel?
yeah. I mean, in the beginning, obviously, it feels like you kind of feel like you're pretty cool, because like everybody just starts messaging you, and you know
Yeah.
what's funny is like I thought I was just doing a video. Um, and I figured it'll be like, between obviously the personal finance community.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm huge, about, and all that, financial independence and,
Yeah.
anything money related, finance related, financial literacy. So I'm like, I figured I'd do this, because I was following their channel and I'm like, wow, this is, I really liked it. And I was like binge watching their videos
Yeah.
and it wouldn't hurt to try it. And I just, they put their email up and I just sent them a quick email. I'm like, yeah, they probably get a lot of them and
Yeah.
me back. And, I figured it would only be between the, me and the finance community. And the next thing you know, like everybody I know is like, yo, hey, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube. And then a lot of people just saw the article. I feel like a lot of people saw the article more than the video.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was just all over, my town. And it was kind of embarrassing just because, like, you try to be, like you said,
Low
oh,
key.
I mind my own business. I'm low key. And
Mm-hmm.
then other people were just like, you know, in a way they thought like I was like trying to show off
Yeah.
when like, so some of them took it as like, oh, look at this guy,
Mm-hmm.
uh, trying to be a show off about what he makes, this and that. So, and I took that very personal because, I always claim to be a humble dude. No matter how much my income makes, I'll always, try to be the same. Of course, there's always people that are going to say you changed, but
Yeah.
you can't please the world. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just, it was overwhelming because you didn't think it was going to blow up as much as it did. But, eventually it dies off just like anything else. You pretty much become irrelevant.
Yeah. I mean, to get 2 point, the main thing for me is that if I'm like, it's like kind of like my situation, right? Like I feel comfortable making videos online, but then
Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable when people like outside that I know about, for example, the money I make, or for example, the videos I make. It's just like, it's kind of weird, okay? But I do want to say,
Yeah.
man, like your
Yeah, you
video,
know exactly how it feels, but
yeah,
you're probably at a different level because you're constantly at it.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
constantly putting you stay relevant.
yeah,
Whereas me, it's been a while, so it kind of passes by. If you're relevant,
mm-hmm,
if you don't keep putting up content, people aren't really going to, remember you, or you're not going to keep growing on social media. But yeah, no, I'm sure you understand exactly how it felt.
yeah,
And, as much as I love it on the internet and stuff like that. But like outside of it, I just kind of feel, I feel like some people just, it rubs them the wrong way. And I
mm-hmm,
don't want them to think that like, I think I'm better than them or whatever.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. it's a part of the game, man. It would have happened now, or would have happened later. I mean, the people that probably dropped off, we had to cut off. They were just, it was gonna happen now or later. Like that shouldn't affect anybody to really have like a fundamental relationship with. Like the whole thing I took away from that video was like, yo, this guy is working really hard, missing family time, and then doing all this stuff to kind of like in a way like have his mom like actually enjoy something. That was the big takeaway for me. And like to see like you came from like nothing really, and then to like this massive thing. So to me that was awesome. Just want to say that.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I never feel like I always feel like I'm not moving quick enough, or you know, to some other people they're like, oh wow, you're doing great, and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing good enough, you know, just because because there's always, no matter how good you are at something, there's always someone that's better at it. So my mentality is, stay hungry, because you know, you're making, whether it's money or success or whatever in life, but you know, I'm making chump change, or my success isn't anything compared to other people. So I stay humble, stay hungry, and always chase, always follow people that are doing way better than you.
I used to do that a lot. It's like, it's healthy in a way, but it can get unhealthy. I read this book. It's called You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Are you a big reader, by the way? Do you read often?
I don't read often. The few books I've read, and not even read, I think I've only read a physical copy. I think one, and that was the book I mentioned in that video. Or I don't even know if I mentioned in the video, but it comes up in that video. It was Rich Dad Poor Dad. But for the most part,
Robert Kiyosaki.
That was pretty much the book that kind of it was like the turning point in my life, because like when I was a kid, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be successful one day. I don't know how, because I was dumb, young, naive, and I just knew it. I just knew that that's what I wanted. I didn't know that I was going to, but I knew that's what I wanted. But I just didn't have a game plan, and I was just doing the wrong things. You know, when you're a kid, you get in trouble. And most of my friends, we grew up working a lot and then spending a lot to make it look like we were doing better than what we were.
Same here, bro. Same here.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So I know I would veered off the book thing, but yeah, no, I try to listen to audiobooks instead, because I feel like I'm always doing something, and I sort of have ADD. Like I can't sit down, relax, and just focus on a book. Cause I know obviously reading a physical book, more out of it than listening to it, because when you listen to it, chances are you're doing something else, and obviously your mind isn't all there.
Is wondering. But yeah, man, you should listen to the audiobook about that guy. It's David Goggins, You Can't Hurt Me, and it tells you exactly like the big belief on just comparing yourself to yourself and just growing on that basis. Because honestly, man, you're moving very, very fast and also very, very quickly, and you're growing awesomely, man. So a big thing is, be careful at comparing yourself, because then you might take like some big mistakes, and then before you know it, you might kind of like render off in the wrong space. But one thing that I
understand.
Yeah, one thing that I realized though in the video was when you first like entered the video, and I was like, okay, so this guy makes like I think it was like 120 from the whole lineman work, which is awesome, by the way. By the way, just for the viewers here, how long did it take you to actually go through the whole process to actually become a lineman? That's what it's called, right?
Yeah. The process, honestly, it ranges in the country, but I'm lucky to, the company that I'm with or whatever. I'm lucky that their program is relatively quick. So, I would say I personally started off not knowing what a lineman was. I had no clue. I had no clue what the career entailed. So I started reading meters for this electrical utility company. I did that for 2 years, and then basically. So
wait, how old are you when you're doing that? You're 20? You're 22?
Yeah. So I'm 6 now. I've been with the company for 6 years. I started when I was 20.
Okay.
So between 20 and 22, that's what I did. For a living. That's when I was so passionate about personal finance, but I didn't have the money, because I was I was making, I think at the time I was making like 19 an hour. I was to the city. I was working in Chicago, pretty much downtown, and all my money was going to gas. All my money was going to my car payment and insurance. I think gas was like $4.50 at the time, almost $5. So I wasn't really making much. But anyways, I did that for 2 years, and then after, the moment I got into the company, I started hearing a lot of guys, "Hey, I'm only doing this because I want to become a lineman." And I'm like, "Oh, a lineman? What's that?" They're like, "Yeah, those are the guys that maintain the power lines and stuff like that." And I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, I never really thought of that, and I wasn't like really like when they told me, I wasn't really like interested, but then they're like, "Oh, they make a lot of money," and then you just hear like, I stop what I'm doing. I'm like, "Oh, they're making a lot of money. Okay, now let's talk."
Yeah.
But to make long story short, I started, I had to wait roughly 2 years to finally make it into one of their apprenticeship schools. And then once I made it in, it was a apprenticeship of 2 years, so which is relatively quick because most apprenticeships within the country you're probably looking at like 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
Luckily with our company, the apprenticeship lasts 2 years, and even as an apprentice, you're making very good money. I mean, the video came out, and I was still an apprentice when the video came out. I was still an apprentice, so most of my income for that year was apprentice pay.
So I thought initially it was like apprentices get paid like around 45 to 50% of whatever the salary is for like a.
Yes. So when we were on that, obviously when the video came out, you kind of get lost in the comments because I'm sure you do too. The comments on the YouTube video, and like everyone was like, "No, that's BS." Sorry, I don't know if I can swear, but they're like, "That's BS. There's no way that guy." I call BS. He's lying. He's not making that much money. Kind of you said, they start 50%. So typically, yes, for any union job, I have one of my cousins. He's an electrician, like a electrician, and he started off at 50%, and then, but our skill is completely different.
Wow.
We're our own union, like just this company itself. We're our own union. And this company kind of has a monopoly on kind of all of Illinois. So we have a bunch of contractors that work for this company, and just the company I work for owns the whole power grid. So their apprenticeship is way different than any other program. So I believe our apprenticeship, you're making about 80%.
80%.
I would say 80 to 85%. Of max pay, or max what you cap out on.
So you weren't even making like the maximum on this whole job at that time of the video.
No. I think I ended up just for my W-2, I think I ended the year like 200. Literally, 200? I was like hover. Yeah, so I ended my year, and which 9 months I was an apprentice. I ended the year at 200. And then the year
after, like the overtime and all that stuff, right?
Oh yeah. Like right now, I would say, our base, without any overtime, it would be around between 120 130.
Wow, so you're putting in a lot of work, man. Yeah.
I mean, I started off this year pretty slow, as far as the overtime.
Yeah.
But the summer's gonna, we're getting into the busy season of, storms are gonna roll in, the high temperature. When the temperature is really hot, there's more outages just because the system is overloaded with that's a different talk for another day about the system. But the overtime is there. You have the opportunity, that's what kind of sucks. Like, I love my job, but it's just, I'm also working on my side hustle so I can eventually stop trading time for money.
Yeah.
And that's what's killing me right now. But at the same time, if you ask anyone that just, whether I quit if you quit your job and you do your own thing, you work for yourself, you start your own business, it's not easy to make gross $250,000 a year.
Yeah.
Especially because, going to a job is the easy part. Like, when I come home, that, about my work problems. But when you have a business, like right now, with our business, it's
This
like
is the lawn care.
the lawn care business. I picked it back up this year. Last year I took a break from it, and I let my brother run it, but it didn't work out. Point is that he just didn't know how to run a business.
Yeah.
My intentions of my business was to start a business on the side, and then give it to my brother.
I actually had that. I think I spoke about that in the video. I was like sometimes that doesn't work out with like family, because some things might be good at something, but they might not be that good at that whole business process.
Yes. Basically, I told my brother, I'm like, hey, I'm going to give you 1 year to run the whole business. Do the work and do the invoicing, the marketing, and I had established a good customer base for him. It was already full-time work for him, but he just, when you're a business owner, you're not, you got to be wired differently. You got to be a hustler. You got to go get it. And unfortunately he had the complacent, the mentality of complacency. He was good with 30, 40 hours a week, and he had no intentions of really growing it. So this year I'm like, hey, let's redo this whole thing. I'm back in charge. Right now I'm in charge of, doing all the marketing and just acquiring, obviously, new customers and communicating with the customers. Any type of communication, that's all of that goes through me. And then my brother and my other guy, they're the ones that are out there doing the work.
So just to confirm, right, this business last year was grossing like $20,000 per month, and it was netting you $1,000. That just sent my mind like going a little crazy. What was going on there? Like, did you guys like rent the machinery? I mean, like finance the machinery or something like that? Like, what happened there?
First of all, I think the figures you mentioned are wrong. I told them that at our peak, it was actually 10,000 a month. It was never 20,000. So yeah, it was 10,000 a month. I really don't know from the video. I don't know where I got that figure, but I know that when it was 10,000 a month, I think I had a 20 to 25% profit margin. So I would say 2,000 to 2,500 a month. But I guess I was also telling them that, I was putting, I would say about half of that I was putting into just buying more equipment. So yeah, I never took, till this day, I have not taken profit out of the company because you have to continue to grow. I mean, I'm not going to retire off, my brother mowing 40 lawns a week. So everything I've reinvested everything into bigger machines, more machines, better.
You should read a book. It's called You should read a book. It's called Profit First. I think it's by Mark McAlowicz, maybe. It's a great book on how to run a business and how to make sure that you get paid first no matter what. So because a lot of times you might get caught up, for example, in the more marketing, the more business, and before you know it, if it just ends up going belly up, then you never got a piece of the pie in any way, shape, or form. Profit First. I have an audiobook to that one too, man. Profit First.
I'm writing it. I'm putting it on my board. Profit First.
You have a board? I used to have a board, man. Now I have an iPad.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm old fashioned. I like pen and paper, and I like whiteboards.
That's awesome, man.
That's just me. I do use my phone a lot, but I don't know, man. I love writing it down, and so I always have a notepad with me. And which I shouldn't, because everything you could do everything on the phone nowadays.
But then again, the notepad you can't swipe up or swipe left, you know what I mean? So there's no distractions there. So I do get that. It does make sense.
Yeah. So yeah, that was with the business. So I would say, my goal with the business wasn't to actually take money out of it. I just wanted to keep reinvesting it. My goal for next year is to have 2 crews, so hopefully 4 guys, and then just scale from there. But I guess I could focus on growing a lot quicker, but I just don't want to do that because there's a lot of stress to it. It's stressful when people think it's easy to run a business, but it's not, especially when you have a 60 to 80 hour work week. with in my W-2. And then I also do real estate on the side. So it's like right now I have 2 tenant turnovers that are in June or July, and I got to remodel one of the bathrooms, so I could get better rent, bring it up, because I never actually upgraded one of those bathrooms. And then the other unit, I still have to paint it, do touch-ups on it, and just the process of going through and interviewing or, looking at tenants that might want to move in, people interested in the unit, because, tenant screening is the number one thing for rental properties. I mean, so I have a lot on my plate.
Mm-hmm. You do, man. You're very busy. One thing is, though, right? I remember, for example, in the video, you started off, for example, like a little slower, where you said, well, right now I live with my brother, my mom in this house, the mortgage is paid off, so my only cost here is just, for example, like me buying a lot of food. By the way, I just want to clarify here. You spending $400 on food, is that just food you buy for yourself, or also you're like your mom and your brother? Just want to confirm.
No, that was for myself. And
that's crazy.
I know. No, but so here's the thing. Like I told, like the 8-minute video or the 7-minute video, it's not enough to like fully go into detail into everything. So everybody, like everyone ends up having questions like, wait, I don't get, how does that, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then sometimes they'll cut stuff out that you said, and then like kind of just, edit the video so it's not so long. Mm-hmm. And some of the information is misinterpreted. But point is that, for the most part, during that time, I was like keeping my eating expenses super, super low. And then actually, like, I did like this, I don't know if you want to call it a challenge, but I want to see what's the cheapest I could eat for, in a 3-month span. Yeah. And I was actually able to do it one of the months where I was able to eat for the whole month for $100.
That is awesome.
But that was extreme. So I mean, that's definitely not,
it's quality of life too, right? You gotta also enjoy what you're eating and so on.
Exactly. So my plan is, because I spoke in the video about being a millionaire by 30. My plan is to knock on wood, if everything goes great this year, I'm already projecting, but like by February, March of next year, I should hit the goal that I talked about in the video, and I'll be 27.
Mm-hmm. And when you say millionaire, right? Do you mean a millionaire in equity or a millionaire just like in assets you just own?
So a millionaire in assets. So obviously, some people think that I was talking about making $1 million a year, but obviously that and I know that doesn't make a millionaire. No, a millionaire in assets, whether my real estate. Yes, I do have debt in my real estate, but obviously it would be value.
What happened that made you go from, for example, like because I know like the first property you buy you pay cash for, the second one you bought you pay cash for, your mom helped you out, but then what made you switch from like that perspective of going, for example, just like full cap rate to then going like, hey, I'm gonna do like this cash and cash return, I'm gonna borrow money, I'm gonna leverage this stuff and just do this and that. Like, what made you do that?
So like my whole mindset has changed over, when I first got into personal finance, one of the very first people I discovered after reading Robert Kiyosaki, it was Dave Ramsey. So I'm sure you're a fan of Dave Ramsey, but so when I discovered Dave Ramsey, again, I was just getting into personal finance, and my head, I had a one-way thinking. So one-way thinking is like, no, you got to buy cash, you don't go into debt, blah blah blah. But then like, I don't know, because to me personal finance, it's not one direction. Like, there's multiple directions, and it's personal. It's personal, and depending on the risk level that you're. I'm not saying like financing is the number one way. It depends on the person. Like, so what? Like getting into more entrepreneurial people like Grant Cardone, and then like Gary Vaynerchuk, and others that started started talking about investing in real estate, but obviously using leverage. So I started getting more into the leverage thing, and I'm like, well, if I could start using leverage, obviously I could start turning the wheels quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, in essence, a falling knife because, when you have debt payments and you don't have income coming in, that's how
Things
everybody
go wrong.
or when people started, what was it, 08, 09, when everybody just lost everything, again, because they over leveraged. So to me, you have to understand the difference between leverage and over leverage. And the thing is, most people don't know when to stop that leverage, and then they end up especially on things that are just going down in value, that are not, making money or stuff like that. So I told myself that, I started learning more about leverage, stuff like that. And then I'm like, well, I'm a very young guy, I like to think. And I think I'm willing to take on leverage to be able to buy more real estate, to be able to get, speed up the process, I guess.
I mean, what's your goal? Because you talk about, for example, speed up the process a lot. Like, what's your goal as far as, for example, the whole FIRE movement thing, right? Retire early, blah, blah, blah. Like, how much money does Alex need to just be financially free every single month?
So here's the thing, kind of like I mentioned, your goals change. At the very beginning, when I get into personal money, my goal was to retire as soon as possible, because after I found Dave Ramsey, I was community. I found that page, that blog, Mr. Money Mustache, which I'm sure you know about. But I wanted to retire as soon as I could and just live a modest life. I just wanted to escape the rat race and not have to worry about punching in, punching out stuff. But again, that's what I wanted at the time. But then I really started, I've always been a hard, wait, that's not really what I want, because I don't want to just retire and just hang out and not know what to do. I truly enjoy at the end of the week, because I worked a lot. Yeah. So then, you know what? I don't want to have just, retire, have a mediocre lifestyle. So I'm like, plus another thing is that my parents aren't always going to be here, Yeah. Everybody's time is ticking. So the reason I wanted to speed up the process was because I want to be able to enjoy more now while I have them than slow later when they're not here, because then I don't, I need personally what's going to fulfill my soul is to be able to enjoy, at least chase it now while they're still here and they're healthy. So my goals change. In order for me to retire, I have because I'm never no number that's going to really be like, okay, now you can retire, now you can relax. Because I always wanted to be a business owner with the landscaping. I eventually want to start a home remodeling business, once I do leave my 9-to-5 job, But I don't have a number. I know a lot of people talk about what's your FI number. And I used to think I had a number, but to me, fulfillment is leveling up. And it might seem greedy, okay, when is enough, But to me, it's not even about the money. To me, it's about the fulfillment of growing. If I could build the business to one day having, 20, and I'm going to talk about the landscaping just because that's what I have now. If I could start a business where I have 20 crews and just be able to employ 100, 200, 300 people, that's fulfillment to me, because I'm dude, I'm employing. To me, that's meaningful. And obviously it's going to pay with the more people you help, the more you contribute to society, the more you make.
Yeah. And you're still at home with your parents, by the way?
Oh, dude, a lot has changed since that video. A lot has changed. I have my house. I live with my girlfriend, and me and her bought this house October or September, and we actually have a 3-month-old baby girl.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you. You
guys getting married?
Yeah. The awesome. That's the goal. I think we're gonna wait a year, but yeah. we're looking at probably next year.
That's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
I think one thing, Alex, right? When I said, here's the thing, right? The FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, whatever it is, right? That perspective is not what I want, right? What I want is to have financial freedom, so then I'm allowed to just be more selective of what I do. So let's say when I say like, what's my number? I mean like, hey, how much money do I need per month, like coming in passively, just to make sure that whatever I work on just makes me, for example, happy. Meaning like, hey, I'm Alex. I make X amount of money every single month. I'm able to work on this business, on this thing I want to do without having to worry about it failing, because in reality, I'm already taken care of. That's what I mean. Because retirement to me, right? One of my heroes is Warren Buffett. The guy's like 90 years old now. He's still working until like he's gonna be dead or whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing for
Yeah,
me. Like
very
I never
humble
plan on
dude.
stopping. Yeah, he's amazing, man. One thing is though, right? I remember I read this quote. Everyone's trying to rush to the finish line, and the finish line is death, right? So a lot of the times, the best strategy is just gonna be, for example, you go slow and steady, and you get there. And one thing is, man, if you're making, for example, I mean, just from like the lineman work, 200K. I don't even know what the real estate stuff is now, and this stuff here, because things have changed. Obviously, it is. It's also setting a budget for your parents and be like, how, what can I? Because a lot of the times is, for example, like if you were to die right now, right? What would you regret? I read this in a book yesterday. Answer this question: what would you regret if you were to die right now?
I feel like regret is always going to be time spent with people.
Okay.
So
and are you doing that
definitely-
right now? Are you doing that right now?
I wouldn't say I'm doing it as much as I should, but I'm, right. For example, my mom right now, she's in Mexico. She's building, the house of her dreams. She's always saved up so she can do that. I'm not spending time with her. And actually, 2 days ago, my dad came over. He was here all day. The point is, there's always room for more. My brother, definitely, I don't spend enough time with him.
And that's what I mean. Life is all about, for example, when you ask yourself, what am I going to regret, and am I doing it right now? The answer is you focus on what you're going to regret right now. That's the main thing, because more isn't always better. So one thing is, let's say your strategy was, well, Tommy, in the video, because that video is, you can say something, and then again, like nothing's supposed to be like set in stone. You can change your mind about whatever. In the video you said though, I want to have 20 properties so I can be a millionaire by the time I turn 30, right? And I was like, my reaction was, I am who I am, right? And I was like, why the big rush here? Like you make a lot of money, maybe even like with the base pay of like 120, right? And if you work, let's work in 8 hours, by the way, 120.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if your base pay is like 120, you already have 2-3 properties, right? And then you can basically start saving up for the next property, and you still have, for example, a bunch of time, like around 16 hours after the 8. You have 8 hours to go ahead and just spend time with your family and enjoy. My big thing is, if you say, because it's easy for me and you, for example, to go out there and acquire a bunch of properties because you have a very high income and so can I. But then the big thing is basically, Warren Buffett says you don't know who's skinny dipping until the tide goes down. And the big problem is, for example, if you buy, and again, over leveraging, 2008, all this stuff, that was a big problem over there. But let's say you start buying all these properties, you're financing, you're working more and more overtime, trying to get to this goal of just having, for example, like some form of financial freedom. But the end will never come, because basically there's always just more money to be made and more time to be given. So, and then with that game, it's more like when you're leveraging so much, if something does go wrong, then you might have a problem that could basically stop you. That's why, for me personally, what I decided was, because I was a lot like you, brother. I was like, but kind of like not with the real estate, but more like with equities in the stock market. I just wanted to like invest. My goal was $240,000 every single year in the stock market to get to my goal, so I can get just passive income coming in, just basically like living more like less life or whatever. And then I ran the numbers and I said, so I'm doing all this, investing all this money, when I could just say, well, what are the steps to financial freedom so I can be okay, still work the job I really love and want to do, build a business, enjoy time, because I think life is about 4 things. You have health, wealth, love, and happiness. So those are the 4 categories. So I try to hit them every single day. So if I say, first step is I can get out of debt fully, so debt free. I save for emergencies, okay, taken care of 3-6 months. I start investing like 15-20%. like, like the baby steps were like my version of it. And
Yeah.
then,
The baby steps, Dave Ramsey.
yeah. And then you buy, for example, your personal home, and that's taken care of, for example, in cash. Well, now, and you also have a large amount of money in investments. Now you're acting from a point of stability. So your decisions are just like a lot better. So now, if you and your, now I don't know if so your girlfriend now, fiance soon, then wife later, have a paid off home, you have X amount of money in the bank now, you have this much passive income, and then you can just add a house maybe once a year or twice a year to your portfolio and keep growing that, you're still super successful. Does that make sense?
Oh no, 100%. No, I mean, I know the there's two ways of doing it. Obviously, the more riskier road, the potentially the quicker, quote unquote quicker, and then the slower. But I'm 100%, like, that's a great plan. But to me, I guess it's more like, I just feel like if I have leverage.
But it's not even just it's not even just quicker, Alex, because you're telling me what I really want to do is I just want to help people and I want to spend time with my parents, right? That's what you're telling me your goal really is, right? And
yeah, I mean, your goal isn't just two things. I mean, I can keep telling you what my goals are. Obviously,
financially, what's your goal?
Financially, it's my family first. Because I'm not out here, spending on me, stuff like that. But also, I mean, for me, for my family, for my kids, for the kids. So it's not just that.
Legacy.
I mean, it's a legacy, and it's just, I guess it's just a messed up mentality. But
it's not messed
level
up.
Up mentality. To me, it's like a game of Monopoly, and I could play Monopoly for hours and hours and hours and hours. And I want to live my life, being the game of Monopoly, I guess, but also in a way where, like, dude, if you eventually want to give to a lot of people or whatever, or just personally me, I have to build, I know successful, success is different for people, but, like you're saying, 2 houses per year, this and that. But, like, to me, it's just too slow.
Because, it's slow, right? Comparatively to, for example, like acquiring 3, 4, 5 properties a year with a ton of leverage. But the answer is okay, let me tell you something, right? If I told you, Alex, I have a way to make you 15 to 20% on your money every single year, would you think that's enough?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very, very, very good return.
That's how Warren Buffett became a billionaire.
Yeah.
Right? But it was slow. And it's not like because the thing is, when you're in a hurt, by the way, I'm not taking control over your life, right? You'll make your own decisions and stuff like that. That's why I was a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki until he went bankrupt, because his whole leverage thing, right? Because when things go bad, they can go terribly bad. And even when you're like a super expert, it's like a lot of people are smarter than Warren Buffett, but then they lose their shirt because Warren Buffett has, for example, billions of dollars in cash to take care of when things go bad or whatever it is. Yeah. So the overall idea is, I think I lost my point there. Where was I going with this? What were you saying?
You're basically what you're saying is we're comparing the slow path to the quick path.
The quick path and the slow path, right? But I read in this book, honestly, and it's amazing that we're having this conversation. And it was like, success is not the goal, success is the journey, right? So if you can enjoy this journey, acquiring 2 properties every single year, bro, you're 26 years old. I'm 24 years old. Like, we're both in a very fortunate situation, right? And let's just say you're acquiring 2 properties a year. By the time you're 40, that's 4 plus 10. That's what, like 14 plus times 2. That's 28 properties. And then by the time you turn whatever it is, you have like a ton of money. And that's just like doing one aspect of it. And that's the same because every time you buy a property and you're done paying it off, this because you're doing this whole game. Since you have like all that cash in, you can just do things a lot faster. To buy the next one. Yeah, it does. It does.
It's snowball effect. No, 100%. No, 100% what you're saying. But I kind of lost you when I was going to interrupt you because you said something that I really want to comment on. But it slipped out. But anyway, yeah.
What do you want to comment on? Did you remember?
I'm trying to think because you said something like that, something that like really, really, really caught my attention where I was going to comment on. But in regards to the leverage part, like, again, that's what I'm saying. I'm not out here trying to do no money down, and I don't believe in
Yeah.
that and that BS. So I don't over leverage my properties by more than 25%,
Mm-hmm.
or I mean, sorry, more than 75%. Like, I always make sure I have, at least put down 25%, but also I kind of like, the 6-month emergency plan, to add up your payments per month and, make sure you have that in reserves. So I keep it as I acquire more properties. I do keep having more cash set aside, $100,000 to cover me for 6 months to a year to 18 months. Because I know that with leverage comes, just as great as it might
Like
feel
Spider-Man.
going up. Yeah, it might feel great going up. It feels even worse going down. So
Yeah.
I'm not out here saying that I'm over leveraging and just
Mm-hmm.
putting everything back, but I'm doing leverage at the same time. I'm also being, I guess, obviously, Dave Ramsey would say, no, there's nothing smart about debt. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it in a way where, like, hey, if everything goes now and I lose all my income, can I pay every
How long
single
can you pay for? How long can you last?
a year?
You can last a year?
I could last a year of getting no income from any of my properties. Zero income.
But including your
Eh,
income, right?
No. Well, I'm not even including my income. What I'm saying
Wow.
is, if I lost all my income off the properties, because I'm using the income. Obviously, I'm not using my income from my W-2. I'm using the income from my properties to pay for them, or else there's no point in investing in them if that's not the case. But what I'm saying is, if let's say I lost my job, and let's say I lost the income of those properties,
And
I
let's
like
say
to keep it.
the roofs got messed up and you needed some repairs and stuff like that. You have enough for a year? Or is it a hurricane? You have
I
enough?
guess if hurricane, I mean that's what insurance is for. But
Yeah.
I mean a natural disaster, I don't think I think I have a higher chance of hitting the lotto than tomorrow finding out that all
Yeah.
of the properties need new roofs, and
Mm-hmm.
my insurance won't be able to cover it. I mean, my insurance covered not too long ago on the very first house I bought. My insurance covered putting a new roof, and that's only because, I mean, I'm sure you know about. I don't know if you know about this, but a lot of companies know how to play that game where, hey, there was a rain, there was a thunderstorm the other day. Hey, we can get you,
Oh.
stuff like that. So
So this is
if they
just
know how,
just to confirm here, right? This is just an example, not saying
yeah,
that Alex did this or anything like this. Is just an example of a hypothetical.
yeah, no, I'm not saying I would do that.
Yes.
But no, actually, I'm speaking from someone I know. But
Hypothetically,
yeah,
yes.
exactly. But okay, what I'm saying is, yes, there's no end to an argument like this because
Mm-hmm.
there's always that what if,
Yeah.
right? What if there fire? What if this? Yes, I understand, and that's why any type of investment, whether it's leveraged or not leveraged, has
Mm-hmm.
risk.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm also big into the stock market. Not as I'll be honest. I don't know much about you, Tommy, but now I will now. And I will be a fan now because you
Yeah.
have a strong argument. But point is that, that's not leverage for the most part. I mean, obviously, I don't believe in leveraging any stock market, any of my investments, any of my equities, whatever. But there's in that too. I mean, and that's not leverage. So there's risk in everything you do. Anytime you
Mm-hmm.
want to flip a buck, turn it into passive income. There's actually now I'm losing my train of thought. There's
It's okay.
there's
I
risk
mean,
in everything.
let's
There's
just
risk in
go.
everything.
Let's just go through the process of you buying a property, right? So you're saying you put down 25% for the down payment usually.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So right now what I'm working on is
Are you for example? Let me ask you a question too, Alex. Right before we continue on the real estate thing, right? Let me tell you my plan. So you kind of because I know your whole
yeah.
plan. It's kind of not fair because I watched the video. So in a way, I kind of like know a part of your life also, right? So it's only fair that I tell you. Me currently, right? What I decided to do was basically decided to do financial freedom at least for myself first. Meaning
Okay.
that I'm gonna get married next year also. So I'm actually moving to Puerto Rico, save money in taxes and stuff like that. But
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, bro. It's like 4% on like what you make over there. So if you want to move over, just let me know.
Uh,
Yeah, it's
so
crazy.
yeah, so let me know how much you pay in taxes, and then I might move with you.
Well, yeah, man. Look, the big goal for me at least is the goal is that once I have financial freedom for myself, then I can move on to just buying rental properties. But what that means is I have a paid off home for myself, right? For me, my wife, or whatever kids I have, whatever. So now that's taken care of. And then I have enough money in investments to take care of whatever I need to take care of. And then I have an emergency fund for myself. And then I'm also like debt free. So from the personal point of view, like it's very unlikely. So you say, for example, I have the biggest chance to like win the lottery, then to get hit with all my roofs or whatever. The same thing happens there. Like when you take care of yourself first, and then you say, okay, so that's taken care of. Me, my girlfriend, my kid, we have a home, it's paid off. This way, we're good to go completely, no matter what. If I lose my job, I can still make, for example, enough money to pay the taxes and insurance on this property and pay for the bills or whatever. And then when I go into real estate, my whole perspective is that my goal in a way is like kind of like you. Like I put down 20% of the property, but instead of moving on, I say, well, I'm gonna put extra money towards this property until it's fully paid off, along with the tenant's income. And then once I'm done with that property, I'm moving to the next one and the next one and the next one. Now I say that to say, for example, not the leverage part, right? Because we can go on for a whole like video for this stuff. But I mean, as far as like, do you agree on this though? Do you agree that maybe you should be financially free, you personally, like from that perspective, before you continue, for example, like with the leverage thing on this side? What do you think about that?
Okay, can you repeat the question? I'm not sure if I understood your question.
Okay. Do you believe, for example, that you should take care of the personal aspect of your financial life first before you keep moving on with this whole leverage thing?
Well, obviously, I know what the answer that you're looking to hear, or what you want me to say.
No, I'm not looking to hear anything. I just want to hear what you think. There's no.
Yeah. So I know, and it's like when someone that smokes, they know it's bad for them, but they still do it. I'm kind of like that.
That's not good. That's not good.
I know what I have to do and what is the quote unquote correct thing to do. But again, I guess look, here's another thing that I kind of should mention. One of my plans, that I would say maybe a year ago, I decided to make this my plan, was to acquire 10 rental properties. And again, 25% down. And then, just start doing the snowball effect. Focus on.
How many do you have right now?
Right now, I have 7 properties, and I have 6 rentals, and I have obviously my personal home. I'm actually right now, looking. I think I have a deal that I found, so I'm potentially looking for my 8th one, my 7th rental. But my game plan is to, once I get to 7 or 10, because the reason I say 10 is because conventional lenders will usually stop at 10. I know I could keep going on and go up to X amount of properties if I go with a different financing route.
So once you get 10, what do you do?
My plan is to just do the snowball effect, but focus on property number 1, focus on property number 2, focus on property number 3, and then
to pay them off.
To pay them off, and then again, because I believe in leverage, but I don't believe in over leverage. So, I personally think I could handle 10 mortgages if I have the cash set aside.
How much would that be? Like how much? You have 6 right now. How much do you owe?
How much do I owe, like total?
Yeah, for the 6.
I would say about 700, or I would say between. I really haven't looked at it, broke it down, but I would say between 550 and 700,000.
Okay, so let's just say, so that's like around 116 per property that you're getting in debt for. So 10 would be like around 1.1, 1.6 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then you will spend how long paying this off potentially? Well, how much do they make you in income now? Like those 6? Now.
6 right now, I would say about $2,500.
$2,500.
Mm-hmm.
So we're saying 2,500 divided by 6, so that's like around 400 per property. So when you get 10, that's around 4,000.
Yeah.
and then you can move on to example, say like, well, I'm gonna use all that income of $4,000 to pay each property. Now, if each property has a balance of $116,000 divided by 4,000, it'll take you around 29 months divided by 12, around 2.5 years or 3 years on average to pay off a property. So,
but also, I mean, it's focusing on throwing not just that income, but also throwing my W-2 income, because the way my life sits right now, my expenses aren't going to go up. I'm not going to get anything fancier than the house I have now. I'm not going to get anything fancier than.
How much did you pay for the house, by the way? Your personal house?
My personal, $340.
$340.
The purchase price, and I believe
3 bedrooms, 2 baths.
It's a 4-2, or no, sorry, 4 3.5.
Okay, I'm asking because it makes space for like the future. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like when you have more kids and stuff like that. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. No, so no, my game plan's to be here. Like I'm not gonna upgrade my lifestyle until at least I hit this this goal to get my.
I mean, and once you have, for example, these 10 properties paid off, what's the plan then?
To just keep scaling.
To keep moving on and just maybe just like buy property in cash.
And then eventually, so you follow Kevin O'Leary?
Somewhat.
Okay, somewhat. So he's a big guy on buying stuff cash. And
so am I.
I buy this cash, buy that cash, and I understand. I think it's easier to understand also. No. What I'm saying is, I think it's easier to comprehend that also when you get to that level of income. Like, it's easy for Kevin O'Leary to say that. I guarantee you Kevin O'Leary didn't get that rich so quick by...
Well, it wasn't quick either. That wasn't quick either, Alex.
No, yeah, you're right, because I can't fully agree on it. But what I'm saying is all these... Okay, let's take the quick part away. But I guarantee you all these billionaires... For the most part.
So let's name a few, right? Warren Buffett got rich slow.
Obviously, you got your Warren Buffett that probably did do it, right?
Charlie Munger also.
But how many people can be like Warren Buffett?
Most of them. Most billion. You should read a book. It's called Stop Acting Rich by Thomas J. Stanley. It talks about the average millionaire in America. Most millionaires don't buy a home that's over $300,000. Most of them drive a Toyota. And most of them don't have any debt either.
Yes, no, 100%. No, I know that. The millionaire part, I do know, 100%. And I agree with you on that.
And even, for example, the billionaires...
I'm talking about multi-billionaire status.
But multi-billionaires have, for example, if you want to be that, for example, multi-billionaires have, for example, a company that they create, a product that usually does something insane, and then they can generate a ton of income.
Yeah, well, I guess most of them. But I'm talking like, Mark Cuban. Did Mark Cuban create
a company that he sold to Yahoo? Yeah, you forgot that?
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Yes, usually you have to have like.
So whatever, but point is, it's either they raised money or they didn't do it all with cash.
Here's my thing, right? Even this plan of yours, right? It's still, something. What I learned is the more money you make, the more your nature is revealed. And the more money you're making, the more it's revealing that at some point you want to go back to the cash. You know what I mean? Like that's like how you are.
100%.
That's how I am too.
Money makes you more of what you already are.
Yeah, exactly. And let me tell you a story here, Alex. Like you wouldn't believe this, but 2 years ago, I would be 100% on board with you, like 100%. So like, because 2 years ago I was doing like 50% like returns, like because I was leveraging crazy with the credit cards. So then usually use that money to then flip back and forth and even lend money to like potential clients and so on. And that was making me a ton of money. And then I got to around like $13,000, $15,000 in debt, and I was still making a lot of money, so everything was right. But then because I'm constantly reading and learning, I said, well, if I continue on this road, then how does this end for me? And what is actually my end goal? Because even now, for example, right? This is why I say it's so important to like take care of yourself first. If you have a $200,000 income, most likely whatever property that you bought right now, a year and a half, you're basically done with your personal property. Yes or no? Like paying it off completely.
In a year and a half, I can be done paying my personal property?
Yeah, like a year and a half or 2 years.
Paying my house down.
Yeah. A year and a half or 2 years.
Yeah, I would say so.
And then, for example, you and your wife, I mean, wife then most likely, can operate from a place of confidence. Now that's taken care of. Mom, girl, or babe, whatever, you don't have to worry about this house, is ours, right? And then you go back to these 6 properties. You can say, let's just pay this down now, and then let's do, for example, the snowball method then. But getting to 10 and then doing that, $1.6 million is a lot, man. It's a lot of money. I had the pleasure to talk to people that have a lot of debt. People that have, for example, $200,000 in debt, and they all have the same pattern where they kind of like they don't see how big the number is until they're there. I had a lady that, this is crazy, Alex. I want to ask you what you would do in this situation. She owed $400K in a mortgage, and she had $80K in debt, and then the home that she actually had was worth around $2.7 million, and she refused to sell it. What would you do in that situation?
Her home was worth 2.7 million, you said?
Yeah. What would you do there? Would you sell the home or would you keep it?
And she was $480,000 in debt. So she owed 400 on the house.
She owed like she owed like 400 on the house, and then 80K on debt. What would you do? Would you sell the home or keep it?
Well, it depends on what her income is.
50,000.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'd sell.
Okay. But then, for example, what I told her was, well, if you sell this home, you can pay off all your debt. You can buy your personal property. And on top of that, 2 rental properties to take care of your income, and you can still have a job. Same thing kind of with you here, Alex, where you can pay off this one thing, then work towards the other ones. And then, for example, just when you have 6 properties, and right now they're making you $2,500, right? What would you make if they were all paid off? All 6 of those?
I would say almost double, or if not, actually a little bit more than double.
Like $5,000?
Mm-hmm.
What's your cash on cash return?
I try to do nothing less than 20% on my cash on cash return, and then that also, that's just the cash on cash return. That doesn't include equity pay down. That doesn't include appreciation on the property.
Mm-hmm.
So those two things are, a big factor as well. The assets being paid off by the renter. I guess the fact that you're not a real estate guy, right? Like, are you a stock guy, or are you a real estate guy? Like, what gets you more excited than, like, what's the most exciting thing for you as far as investment? I'm assuming it's stocks, because you mentioned it earlier, or no?
It's right now currently is ETF. I'm not stock picking yet.
Okay, ETFs. Okay, yeah. So I guess the thing with real estate, I guess the leverage is pitched more. You can't pitch leverage or debt as much, and doing stock market investing.
You can. By the way, I'm an accountant, so I know about the taxes and all that stuff.
Operating with margin. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you can do all that stuff, or like cover calls. There's a lot of ways.
Yeah, no, I know. What I'm saying is not as much as real estate. It's more common in real estate to pitch it than, or at least, call me ignorant, but I think I personally, from my experience, I've just seen it pitched. It's so easily pitched in real estate that it's just normal. It's normal to say the term that, I'm getting a mortgage on this property, right? It's normal in our society. So I guess that's why I see a lot of value in the leverage, and whether it's my ignorance or not.
That's fine. It's fine. One thing I've learned is the most popular things in life are not always the best. It's kind of like McDonald's is the most popular restaurant in America, but it's not the best, right? Same thing like with popular ideas, for example, like these ones. Sometimes, by the way, you're doing great. I'm not trying to take away from what you're doing. You have 6 properties. It's making you $2,500. You're making $200K from your job, which is a big sacrifice also because it costs you a lot of overtime and like family time also, and like you're really like a family guy. Now, what I ran the numbers here, it sounds like if you owe like 116 on each property, for example, on average, you should owe like around almost like $700K on these properties. And if you make $5,000, just talking about cash here, your cap rate would be somewhere around like 8.6%. So even then, you would default to like around 60K. And when you have, let's say you have that money, like, do you still keep your day job or do you quit that job? What would you do?
No. Well, I don't know exactly because I'm not there. I have to be in that position to really know what I want to do. But I mean, I would say I'd still keep it just because now I have actual, ammo to really get started.
60K a year.
What was that?
60K a year.
No, that's what I'm saying. If I'm making 60K a year, no, I would not quit my job. I would, in order for me to quit my job, I have to be making at least what I'm making outside of work. That, whether it's
so what do you say, for example, again, think about this, Alex, right? Think about this here. This is very important that you understand this. My name is Alex. I have zero debt. I have a full-blown emergency account. I have a large investment account. I've been doing like 15% to my investment account. And I have a paid-off home with a wife and kid inside there. My living cost might be, for example, $1,000 or $2,000. And I'm making $60,000 a year.
Yeah.
It's a different conversation, right? Because at that point, like, you keeping that job is if you hate that job, it doesn't make sense. It's more about, like, if you really want fulfillment and you want to do it, for example, with a lawn care business, which is fine, but really think about, like, the end goal here. Because at that point, like, that's what I'm saying, for example, it's very important that once you get to where you're okay, then you can say, like, okay, now what exactly do I want to do? And, like, how do I grow from whatever I want to grow? But at that point, there's no need to, like, I mean, unless you want like $1 billion or whatever, but if you really want fulfillment, then you focus more, for example, on the service you give versus the money you'll get. Because, service and money just come right along. So the more you help people, the more money you'll make. It's just gonna be like a side effect of it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, it's because it's like anyone else in America. I mean, they it's easier to say that you're gonna leave your job.
Well, not leave your job. I'm saying because the thing is, you're not leaving your job. You're leaving that salary, and that's what probably has you worried. But if you have no debt, you have nothing to worry about, right? What would you do if money wasn't like a problem? Like, what job would you pick to do? What career? Because a job is something you do for money. Career is something you do for fulfillment and enjoyment.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. The only thing, there's no career will ever make me happy to my full potential. This is why. I personally love everything I do. I love that my job. I love that not anyone could do my job. Like, literally, people.
So you do love your job?
Yes, I do.
Okay, awesome.
You know what I love? You know what I don't love? I don't love that I don't dictate my life. My employer, whether I go work at no matter what company I go work at, they're gonna dictate my life. To a point, right? So. I always
and every business is always going to be like that also. Even with YouTube, I do YouTube. I make a lot of money, but my subscribers in a way are going to dictate my life. In the stock market, same thing.
No, you're right. No matter what, other people will dictate your life, right?
In some way.
A business in some way. But when you're an employee, your life is dictated to its maximum potential. Like, literally, you're a slave.
Only though, Alex. They can only do that to you if you need them, because remember, right? If you don't need them because you have the money, you have everything you need, then you don't have to put up with any of that stuff.
Yes, no, and also, that goes back to the reason I do what I do, because I want to surpass my income. I love having, I like having my income, and that's the income I want to have. In order for me to feel secure, it's just different. I'll feel secure if I am able to bring my passive income or my side hustle income, near the level where I'm at work, because that's just a personal preference. I know if you have all your stuff paid. Here's the thing. I know that $60,000 goes a long way when you don't have car debt, when you don't have.
It's not just $60,000. That's like it's more like that's where you got to start, like, for real, because I can do it off of $20,000-$30,000, like me personally, but I'm still going to be earning a very large salary because I still love what I do and I make a lot of money doing it. But it's saying, like, now I have selection. I can just be like, if I want to do this, I can do this. I can just do whatever I want to actually do. And one thing is, if your goal is to make $200,000 passively, let's just say, for example, an 8% return, right? Just like for fun here. Divided by 0.08, that's around $2.5 million that you have to have.
I think with real estate that's doable.
Well, it's doable now when you're doing cash on cash return because you're doing like the whole 20%, so that you'll need more volume to get there. But if you're gonna eventually switch to cap rate, where you're saying I have 1.6 with the figures we used before, and you're earning like 8% on those numbers, because if you have 6 properties and they're making you 60K, that's around an 8.6% return. At that point, if you're making 8.6 return, you're still gonna have it's like $2.5 million, bro. So it's a lot. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So what I would do, honestly, bro, you're like, it's the same thing that I said in my video about you, man. You're an amazing guy. You're awesome. I like your whole idea of like, I want to take care of my parents. Just don't get lost in the sauce, bro. That's one of the things. If you get lost in the sauce, and I could get lost in the sauce if I pay attention too much to like this YouTube thing, right? But just don't get lost. Saying like, I have a goal. My goal is take care of my family first, and then I can just operate from a place of confidence. I can still do my job and just take things a little slower. But there's no need to rush, and don't compare yourself to Kevin O'Reilly or none of those guys.
No, dude, no. Trust me. I don't like the difference between looking at what they do and trying to, maybe one day, emulate what they do. That's different. I never compare myself to other people because that only crushes you. And going back to what you said earlier, I think I just remembered. Yeah. You said
that was a long time ago, bro. You got a great memory,
dude. I know. Well, no, I just have like I have just a weird dude. But point is, you said it's not about the race; it's about the journey. It's not about the finish line; it's about the journey. And I 100% agree on that. And it might not seem like it to you, but literally, that's what I tell everyone. Like, what I know in that video I said a million. I really don't know why I said that, dude. Whether it was I was camera shy, nervous, whatever. Anything you can tell because the way talking really slow. But
you did great, bro.
That is that like I don't know why I threw an arbitrary number that means nothing because I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk because that's exactly what he says. That's an arbitrary number. It means nothing. What does 1 million at 30 mean? It really doesn't mean anything. So I do agree with you, but my way, obviously we got two different ways of going at it. But truly, in my mind, at least I like to think that I enjoy I enjoy the process because before I'm like, oh, this is my goal. This is my goal. It's arbitrary goals that mean nothing. But at the end of the day, I love doing what I'm doing, at least for now. I do have the game plan of eventually leaving. I'll be honest with you. I think within the next 4 or 5 years, I'm going to leave my job. Love my job. I love everything about it. It's challenging. It's rewarding. It's amazing. You don't know until you're actually doing the work, or you don't know. You'll never know unless I don't know how it feels. I don't know what it's like to be in your shoes. No, someone that doesn't know what I do obviously doesn't know either. But point is that I'm in love with the journey. I'm in love with work, and I'm in love with the hustle. Yes, does it take time from being with my family? Yes, it does. And that's my downfall. But
it doesn't have to be your downfall because you can do both. That's the main key. I think I read that in a book. It's called Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. A rich person always thinks both. So if you can, the thing is, right, I just did some numbers, right? If you have $700,000, like once you're paid off all these properties and you put in extra like $50,000, like it's like by growing it, right? At a 12% return over 30 years, you'll have around like $34 million, right? Like you're going to be very wealthy if you do things correctly. Like I have no doubt in my mind about it because you already set things up in a great way. Like the only thing is that right now you're super over leveraged, you're leveraged, right? But the point is, if you can have, and I don't recommend that, by the way, I'm just an honest guy. I'm going to tell you what I think because I wouldn't feel good like having a conversation with you for an hour and being like, oh, everything's fine, Alex. Okay, you're great. You're looking great here. Because if I don't, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, just kissing my ass, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm not like that.
No, I love having constructive.
Yeah, but my point is, Alex, if I were you, what would I do, right? If I were you, and I could pay off all these properties and make sure me and my wife are okay, and then I can just work, for example, 8 hours or not work at all and really spend time with my family while I'm still growing my business. Because by the way, I'm still super debt free. I'm still making a bunch of money in passive income. I can still buy properties. Why wouldn't I do that? This is the best of like both worlds. But because again, remember, right? It's health, wealth, love, and happiness. So health is, I think you work out, bro. So you're solid on that. Wealth is the money part. Like, just don't go crazy with the leverage. The love is your family, your future wife, your kid, and all that stuff. Like, they gotta see you around. Like, there's this perspective that when you're really hustling, like, your kid is fine. Like, you can just work. It's fine. You can just pay them this, blah blah. But like, it's just like you can have both, bro. Like, literally, you can have both. You can be done with all this like in the next 3 to 5 years. And you can still like if you really enjoy the journey of real estate, you can still do the journey of real estate. You can still get the great deals out there. You can still build your business, but there is no crazy rush. And then as you keep growing, obviously, you'll become even more wealthier. But that just be like a side effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you still have a bunch of time with your mom, a bunch of time with your fiance and all that stuff, with your girlfriend. I keep saying fiance, I'm sorry, because I have a fiance, so I keep saying that. But yeah, man. Overall, man, that's the big thing, man. You're doing great. I would stop now and not worry about the 10 and just like focus now on what you want to do, because you have everything that's going on right with you right now is going on right with you today, not tomorrow. We don't know about tomorrow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%.
But that will be it, man. Spend time with your brother.
Oh yeah, for sure, sure, man. Well, that's another thing I'm kind of working on. I'm saving up a little bit on the side to plan a trip for. Actually, to be honest, I had a trip planned last year, but then COVID hit, and then they rescheduled it to a year later. But my dad didn't feel safe, and then I had the baby, so we didn't go.
Yeah.
But even though for example, I planned a 10-day trip to go with my dad and my brother, and go visit his family in Mexico and just spend time with them. So, at the same time, that's another reason why I'll be working a lot, to make a little bit more extra so I could do stuff like that.
Here's one thing I learned too, Alex. And the thing is, right, you're 26, I'm 24. So whatever life experience you have right now is trash, and also me, right? Because we're both super young. So I get a lot of life experience from people that are a lot older than me by reading their books. And one thing I've learned is that quality time is the most important thing. Don't get, your dad's alive, your mom's alive. My dad passed away, and my whole goal was, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make this money. I have to do this first. I have to graduate first, and then I can finally go visit when I'm ready. And then he passed away, bro. So I would not focus on these vacation things. I would just focus on spending quality time with them, and then you can save that money up on the side. But then that's just a bonus. But I wouldn't sacrifice what I have going on, like with them, like for example, like my family wise, for making extra money to them, put something special or whatever. Now I remember that vacation when they die. They remember you and the time they spent with you, bro.
Yeah.
That's one thing, man.
So
and just whenever you wake up, ask yourself the same question, bro. Ask yourself the same question. Like, if I died today, what would I regret? And whatever the answer is, you work on that every single day, bro. Yeah. You can be done very quickly, very fast, man. This leverage thing is cool. I'm telling you, bro. We're not that different, bro. Like a year and a half ago, I was about to buy a $700,000 triplex right here in New York, and thank God that it did not work out for me. Because now I would have been stuck here when the whole pandemic happened. What would have happened then? Or for example, you just slow down. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just better you just go step.
People in rent.
Yeah, no, yeah. Over here is a problem, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, knock on wood, you can call it luck, but luckily, I got paid.
It's not luck, bro. It's quality of tenants that you got. Quality of tenants.
Yeah, a little bit of luck, but quality of tenants, But things could have definitely gone, 360 or 180.
But yeah, bro. The big takeaway, Alex, is remember you're gonna have a baby, so they need to have their proper foundation, and so do you. So if you can pay off that home and then pay off the other properties and make $5,000 and still have a job that you actually enjoy doing, you're still winning. You can still do the whole real estate thing. You'll be slower. You'll see people, for example, on social media doing a lot better. But when things go wrong, you'll be the one that's going to be fine in your fortress. Even when investing, because everything correlates, right? Even when you're investing into the stock market, into equities, the big thing is that the companies you want to find are companies that during turmoil, they're going to be able to actually withstand whatever happens to them. And the big thing is that you're young and I'm young, so you don't know this and I don't know this, but I have to read this in books. In the stock market, there's been times where it took the market 25 years to fully recover. The same thing can happen, something like in the real estate in the future. Who knows what's going to happen? My point is, I'd rather be on the side where I have a paid off home, I have my kid, I have my wife, I have 60K in income, I have a great job that I love, but I don't need any income. Like, I do this because I love it. And that could be your life, bro. That's the life that I just described. That could be your life. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's the big thing, brother. You have any questions for me?
No. I just gotta say thank you. Thanks for reaching out.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. And when I saw your video, man, I was like, my first thought, bro, I was like, yo, I gotta be friends with this guy somehow, some way, you know, because like I thought you were so cool, man. Like honestly, because when I was growing up, you probably know this too. Like you're probably like one of the only people in your little town that thinks the way you think. Same thing where I'm from too.
Oh, 100%. I mean, this our niche is a lonely niche, man, because
Mm-hmm.
to do what we know or what we want to do, we don't want a mediocre life, right? We want
Yeah.
to like Dave Ramsey says, we want to be weird. But
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
the norm to do the opposite, and it's very lonely because you almost feel like you can't talk to anyone about it because obviously, you know how our country is, or actually how most of the world is,
Mm-hmm.
but we live in the now.
Yeah.
And we can't sacrifice, a little bit, put away,
Mm-hmm.
save, invest, because it's just instant. What do you call it?
Gratification.
That's what everybody lives on.
One thing I've learned so you can have a happier life, Alex, is when you have family and friends that just don't get it, just stop mentioning it. And just like enjoy the life you have with them and that moment. And when they're ready, they'll come to you.
Oh, that's where I got you on my 2 years, man. My 2 years on this planet, I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you're really excited. You're telling everyone because you're learning, so you're excited. And when you learn something that's beneficial to you,
Mm-hmm.
our natural instinct is to tell other people, right? Not like with any product we use, word of mouth. So it got to the point where everyone's like, dude, shut. Let's just have some drinks and not talk about. Let's not talk about our futures. Let's talk about meaningless other stuff. What I thought was meaningless. But then I got to a point where like, okay, I'm just gonna shut up. And that was already a couple years ago. I think at 23, that's when I'm like, all right, I'm done talking about this.
That's awesome.
Now,
bro.
what's funny is now they said,
come to you.
So no need to ruin relationships or annoy people because, like you said, they do. You're 100% right on that because I've already experienced that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, thank you so much for
appreciate your time.
Reaching out to me. I'll definitely link up. I'll follow you on Instagram, stuff like that. Let's keep in touch because I love people. I especially love it when people are doing better than I am. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate.
All right, brother. Have a good day, man. And by the way, last question here. Did you finish the tattoo?
God, man. You want me to lie to you, or do you want me to be straight up?
Be straight up, man.
So when COVID hit, my tattoo artist just kind of stopped doing tattoos because he was scared. So I was kind of like, okay. So, and here's another thing. The guy, great guy, but literally I've never met anyone that tattoos as slow as he does.
Yeah.
So it was like a painful experience because like it's his tattoo shop, and then basically he's got like 8 guys there, and then everybody keeps coming in like, look what I did today, and it's like a big tattoo. I'm like, dude, this guy's still working on the face. Like how is this possible? And so then I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to go to him to finish. And I've just been procrastinating and, been busy. Like it's not been on my priority list.
Yeah.
But I think about it at least once a week. I'm like, this week I'm going to do it. But in all seriousness, I just contacted two tattoo shops that are supposed to be really good so they can finish it up because, it really does still mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
Because my friend he was a really, really good dude, and he definitely my whole life changed, my whole mindset. I started to live a little bit more, enjoy, like you said, enjoy family more. I definitely did start to hang out with my family more, enjoy them more, have them over more, because of him. Because like you said, if you die, what's your biggest regret? Well, if it happened to him, I mean, it happens to people every single day.
Yeah, bro.
So
That's the scary part.
believe it or not, I do work on that. Dude, we're not perfect. There's always something we could all
for
work
sure.
on. It's this constant battle of working on everything, all our flaws every single day of our life.
I think the biggest thing to understand, man, is that it's not trying to balance everything, but just trying to look back at your life and say like, oh, I did a pretty good job. Because you can't just do like 25% for the wife, 24% for it doesn't work like that. But it's just making sure you make time for things. That's all it is.
Exactly. No, you're 100% right. But yeah, thanks again. I do appreciate.
All right. And by the way, Alex, before you go, do you want to shout out your Instagram or anything that you want to shout out, or you're solid on that?
Yeah. Do I get the Instagram handle? Yeah, my is Sanchez22 Dro. That's DRO. And then, not sure if you noticed, but I created a YouTube channel where I talked about personal finance.
Bro, awesome.
I guess I shouldn't even be mentioning it. I haven't posted it in, I would say 7-8 months, but I kind of get spurs where like, I'm going to post. But anyway, you asked me what would I do if money wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely something I would love to do, talk about.
Do it now.
Yeah, right.
If you need help with YouTube, man, just let me know. I can help you set up and everything like that. But just you got to start posting videos. That's all it is.
I guess I overthink about content and what people are gonna click on and view. All the analytics. You get lost in the analytics. I get lost in the sauce.
Imagine if I did that, posting, because we make over here, around 10 videos a day. People don't know that. If I got lost in thinking about analytics, I just wouldn't. The goal is, does the video I make today, does it help someone? If the answer is yes, you make it. That's all it is, bro. And eventually just compounds.
And obviously you just think about, does it help one person?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, literally, if I get one view on a video and I get a like and a comment saying yo, this helped me out, I'm like, yo, great, awesome. My job is done. You know what I mean? That's all it is, bro.
Yeah, I just, Graham Stephan?
Yeah.
So basically, I took it from his approach where he actually gave me his course for free, his YouTube course, but he just got me too stuck on the analytics. On the on the money side of it, which I think that's wrong, because then that's how you end up. You don't do YouTube for the money, you do it because you like it, and then the money shows up, right?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I learned is also not every passion has to be monetized. So if you love YouTube, you do it it's like Steve Jobs said that to do what you love to do, or anything entrepreneurial, it takes a crazy person to work at something not seeing any results, because the average person, the reasonable normal person, would give up because it's just not working. So it takes you going beyond that. And if you just make valuable content, I guarantee you that it'll work out. But even if it doesn't work out, guess what? If it's your true passion, you still love what you do and you're still helping people. So that's all that matters.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. All right, great conversation, Alex. Don't want to keep you any longer. Thank you, bro. Really appreciate you. And thanks for coming on the channel, okay?
Yes, man. Definitely going to binge watch all your stuff, and we'll stay connected. Thank you so much for your time, and stay safe.
All right. Peace out, brother.
Good one. Take care.
All right. Peace. All right, guys. So that right there was Alex, man. And I have been waiting to talk to this guy for a while, a long time. Tell me why. Why do you want to talk to this guy for? He's just a normal guy. The answer is yeah, everybody's normal, But it's because I felt a very strong pulse to just be yo, I want to tell him what I think about his plan. Because for example, when I was on my rampage of going crazy with credit, no one was stopping me. Everyone was like, yes, you keep going, because everyone is also in a rush. That's the truth, right? And that's why, us, the Turtle Squad here, that's what I call our team here, the Turtle Squad. We're just going slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. And every time you read that story, for example, the turtle and, for example, the rabbit, the turtle always wins, because you're going slow and steady. You're not going backwards or sideways or anything. While the rabbit is going, for example, sideways here. Maybe you get a bankruptcy here. Maybe you have to do this here. You get all these things happening and you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So talking to Alex just made me think hey, bro, you have 6 properties already. A, focus on yourself right now, pay off your debt currently, right? You're done there, cool. And then focus on these properties and just pay them off as fast as possible. You have income coming in, you have a great job that you actually love, then you're good to go. You're solid. Whatever you want to do beyond that, you can do it just step by step. There is no rush, you know. It changed my life when I heard this statement. Tommy, if you're rushing to get to the finish line is death. So what's the point of going out there and rushing like crazy? And one big thing that changed, basically, I stopped hanging around all the people that are talking about, oh yeah, Tommy, use your income, you leverage it like crazy, you do this like crazy, because usually all those people are just trying to go into the same thing. Basically, a lot of risk. And before you know it, you don't know what's going to happen. And just to reiterate here, Alex has 6 properties, has around $696,000 in debt. And that makes him, for example, around $2,500. You feel what I'm saying? You see how much money that is that you actually owe just to get that amount of money? The answer is just go step by step and get to what you want to get to, because if things do go wrong, like, oh my gosh, it's like not going to happen, like the lottery or whatever. Everyone like wins the lottery every now and then, and you might get lucky. You might get a visit, from example, from Murphy, Murphy's Law. So yeah, guys, great conversation here. Let me know what you thought here, and let me know, do you want me to contact more people from Millennial Money and reach out for an interview and then do this whole video here again? Comment down below, let me know. As always, guys, appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. And again, I'll see you next time. The Turtle Squad. That's the name for my audience officially. I'm sorry if it's boring, but that's the name I've chosen, okay? Slow and studying wins the race 100% of the time. All right, guys, see you guys tomorrow. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. If you want to call me one-on-one, talk to me, well, join me. Link down below. Schedule a call for free right now while they're still available. And on top of that, also, if you want to DM me right here at Tommy Bryson on Instagram. And lastly, if you want to watch more content, here's the video right here, and click my face right here. Thanks for watching, and I'm out. Turtle Squad.